Now I'd like to invite Donna Martin to the podium. Donna has been a public health planner at Mid-America Regional Council since 2010. Currently, she's the project director for a USDA Food Insecurity and Nutrition Incentive, or FINI, grant that you heard Beth mention earlier, that supports a program called Double Up Food Bucks in Kansas and Missouri. Join me in welcoming Donna.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being able to be here and talk with you, and hopefully we'll have a lot more conversation after today as well. So yes, I am here representing the Double Up Food Bucks, really a whole collaborative of people that work on Double Up Food Bucks, and so I'm happy to present a little bit of information about what we've been doing and what we hope to do in the coming year. So if you've not heard about Double Up Food Bucks, it is an incentive program for healthy food, and the three main kind of what I call the pillars of our stool that really are the important objectives of our program are to make it possible for SNAP families to bring more healthy food home to their families, more produce home for their families, to help support our local agriculture, and to keep more of those dollars in our local economy so we can strengthen our communities. So, Double Up Food Bucks has been functioning under the FINI grant for 2 years now, and we're just getting started on our 3rd year. We'll be going till 2019 for sure. We probably will be even extending to the very end of 2019. So in 2017, we had 144 locations participating in our program. They ranged from as far west as Salina to as far east as St. Louis, and as far north as St. Joe, and way down to Pittsburgh and Branson and that area down there. As you can see, in the St. Louis area, we had 68 locations. Primarily, most of them were grocery stores. In the central and southern Missouri area, we had all of those were farmers markets, and they were spread out all over that kind of geography. In an area we call West Central Missouri, we had 6 farmers markets, and then in Eastern Kansas, we had primarily farmers markets as well, and in the Kansas City area, it was a lot of farmers markets and 15 grocery stores, and those were primarily Ball's Price Choppers. So this just gives you a visual of sort of our large geographical footprint. So how does it work? So it does work differently between farmers markets and grocery stores. So at a farmer's market, a SNAP customer needs to go to an information booth. Individual vendors are not able to take any kind of electronic payment. So even if you're paying with a Visa card, you're not going to be able to go to an individual vendor generally at a farmer's market. So you need to go and you need to get tokens. So a SNAP folk will go to a information booth. They swipe their card, they tell the person at the booth how much they want to get off of their SNAP card, food assistance card, and they will get tokens that will say SNAP on them. Those tokens they can use for any SNAP eligible item. Now we have found, one of the lessons we have learned is that people buy a lot of different things at farmers markets. They buy fresh fruits and vegetables, but they also buy locally raised meats, they buy eggs, they buy cheese, they buy honey, they buy coffee, they buy a lot of different things at farmers markets. So we did know that a lot of people still wanted to use that SNAP dollar for their SNAP, and we of course can't limit that. So they will get a match for that SNAP token up to $25 a day of Double Up Food Buck tokens. So they say Double Up Food Buck on them, and those tokens they can use for fresh fruits and vegetables. Obviously, as a public health person, I'm hoping that they buy a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables with their SNAP tokens as well, but I'm happy if they spend all their double up food buck tokens on them. So when they have their SNAP tokens and their double up food buck tokens, that's when they go shopping, and they can go. We try to work really hard with these markets to get signage up at the booths, the vendors that are doing the program, as to who takes which kind of tokens, because it can be a bit confusing, particularly at markets like Columbia, I think, has a market that offers 6 different incentive programs with 6 different kinds of tokens. So you can imagine how kind of crazy that can get. Oh, wow, that's cool. So to apply the socio-ecological kind of system to the farmers market portion of our program, there's lots of different elements here. We, at the state level, obviously a state has to determine that they are going to let farmers markets accept SNAP. That hasn't actually happened during my time, because luckily we came into a situation where both Missouri and Kansas already do that. But it is a conversation that comes up every once in a while as to whether tokens is the best way or vouchers is the best way. So that is an item that we kind of revisit every once in a while. Interpersonal, there's lots of that goes on in our program. Market managers and vendors need to really be up on what this program is doing. They need to make it very clear that, yes, they are participating, put up signage and that. So there's a lot that goes on there. At some of the markets, we do have nutrition ed programs, which always helps to increase the understanding and the likelihood that people are going to buy more fresh fruits and vegetables and use them at home. And at the individual level, SNAP customers are always encouraged to go to farmers markets and utilize this program. That's probably where we see the biggest barriers for the farmers market program, is getting SNAP folks to the markets. Whether it's they just don't know what a farmer's market is, they don't have the transportation, there's a wide range of issues there. So I'll just keep going. So the grocery store, how does it work at the grocery store? So the way it has been working at the grocery store the last couple years is that we wanted the SNAP customers to go into the grocery store, look for locally grown items. When they purchased those locally grown items, they would get $1 match for every $1 they spent. They'd get $1 match to buy more fresh fruits and vegetables in general. It didn't have to be locally grown to redeem. And that was dealt with in a variety of ways at grocery stores. The Price Choppers, for instance, do it on their Price Chopper shopper card. The Schnucks stores in St. Louis, they have a handy little online Schnoop-on account that they like to use. Some of the independent grocery stores will just give a voucher. So it's a wide variety of different ways that they do it. So in other words, they're buying local and then locally grown fresh produce, and then they get more of any kind of fresh produce. And the idea there is that most of the grocery stores do it year round. So when there's not locally grown produce, we want them to, then they have the opportunity to buy any produce. So applying the socio-ecological system model here, part of it is working with grocery stores to determine exactly how they're going to implement the program. Like I said, if they're going to use a loyalty program, how's that going to work? There have been challenges there, which we'll get to as we go. Also working with them on signage. Because we were requiring customers to buy locally grown to earn the incentive, we knew that was a huge issue, that they needed to know what items in the store would actually qualify, and we actually found out that was a huge barrier. There wasn't enough produce in some of the Schnucks stores for the customers to recognize. Customers, we realized, especially in areas where they weren't used to seeing locally grown called out in the grocery stores. They didn't know what locally grown meant. They figured if it's in my local grocery store, it's locally grown, including bananas and kiwi and, so I've done a lot of education about locally grown. That's a really fun conversation. So that was an issue. Interpersonally developing materials, just all kinds of things so that cashiers, the produce department folks, also could help be a resource for SNAP customers. That was huge. If a cashier didn't even know that they were doing the program, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. So there were lots of different layers in this program that really kind of affect how well it runs. And of course, as I mentioned, SNAP customers needing to know that the program exists and needing to know what is local. And then sort of both parts of our program, both grocery store and farmers markets, on the community level, one of the big aspects that we've really been working hard at is trying to get our community partners and the community in general to know that this program exists. That's been a real challenge, just getting the word out. A lot of people, and because of our policies in both Kansas and Missouri about how long people can be on SNAP and that they're moved on and off, it's really a challenge to get that word out. Our original plan was to have a community advisory board made up of SNAP folks that would help inform our work, that would help inform our communication efforts and the way we were doing things. That was challenging. Just because of the scope of our geography, we really had a hard time bringing people together. We would have a lot of interest and then very little show at our actual meeting time. So we're now changing efforts. We're actually trying to do a similar effort as what you've heard, where we're trying to partner with other community organizations that actually do have a closer relationship with SNAP folks or folks that might qualify for SNAP, and have conversations at that level. So what's been the outcome so far? This is a lot of numbers. I just want to call out a few things so you don't need to memorize all these numbers. But first of all, I want you to look at the second to last column. So you will see that in that column that there were really 3 big areas where we had the highest dollar amounts redeemed. And those were the central and southern Missouri areas, their farmers markets, the Kansas City farmers markets, and also the eastern Kansas farmers markets. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that all 3 of those areas, the farmers markets, they had farmers markets that were already doing incentive programs prior to this. That concept was a well-established concept for them. So, and not necessarily that all of the farmers markets did well, that's the sort of the total. So like in the Kansas City area, City Market is our rock star. Like it's 95% of that amount. So we really have learned that looking at the each farmer's market really does make a difference as to who's really who has the SNAP customers coming to their market, who has the vendors, the number of vendors available, because we know SNAP customers are probably going to want to go shopping at a place where they have variety, and it's a good use of their time, and there's a lot of different things they can buy. So you will also notice that the grocery stores numbers are struggling. And there's a variety of reasons for IT, communications, just a whole variety of reasons that have kind of created barriers for the grocery stores the last couple of years. You'll also see that in the percentages redeemed as well. But I want to say that there is still hope for the grocery stores, I believe. If we can fix some of the IT issues and fix a lot of the communications issues, I feel like there is a tremendous amount of potential. So if you see that 4th column in, I believe, the amount of SNAP transactions, you'll see that there is a lot of room for us to capture some of those dollars. That's a lot of SNAP transactions happening at grocery stores, and if we even, not to say that we'll capture even 50% of that, but even if we could do a little bit, it'll be better. So quickly, I just want to mention our lessons learned. We're obviously that IT issues have to be running well. People have to be very well trained about what this program is all about. Communication to SNAP customers is critical at many levels. At the store, in the community, in all of your programs, it's critical. And then, obviously, fresh produce has to be available. In the Schnucks stores particularly, we found that the locally grown items were not available, and that was a real issue. Their distribution and how they get locally grown into their stores is still in development, so that's a problem. So, in 2018, what are we doing differently? We've got 148 locations offering the program. We have 12 of them are brand new. And then we are hoping to deliver the program or offer the program to at least 293,000 people that live in the zip codes where we're doing this program. Here's the biggest change. So in the grocery store, because we saw so many challenges with not only the customers understanding locally grown and the grocery stores having locally grown, we've taken the responsibility of the locally grown off the shoulders of the customer's responsibility so that they can now buy any fresh fruits and vegetables to both earn and redeem. The responsibility of the local still is on the grocery stores, so we're still holding them to a certain percentage that's offered in their stores during the locally grown season. Okay, so I'm just gonna really quickly, we are doing evaluation at a lot of different levels. We do environmental scans, we do a whole bunch of different surveys of customers, vendors, market managers, grocery store folks. Won't go into that a lot because we're running out of time, but oh wait, I want to go back to that. So we have a couple different things. So nearly all of the surveyed customers would recommend the program to other SNAP recipients. 93% say they think it's easily utilized in the markets and the grocery stores. Almost all of the SNAP customers say they can afford more fresh fruits and vegetables because of this program. So it helps them save money, they can eat healthier, and they like supporting local produce. And then these are just a couple elements. The amount of fresh fruits and vegetables that they're consuming is increasing for 80% of them. And then 64% are saying that they are consuming a greater variety of fresh fruits and vegetables, which is also really important. And 56% say they're eating less of the junk food, potato chips, candy, cookies, and things like that. And there's me. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them later or when we get up at the panel. Oh, I do have a few brochures available. We've just been recently getting these in, and they're in Spanish too. So if you need more, please feel free to contact me.